Hello everyone, welcome to this short video wherein we're going to talk about Amazon Web Services and Terraform. So if you're new to both of these technologies, consider staying back as we're going to take you through the fundamentals of AWS with Terraform. So my name is Shantanu and today we're going to take a few minutes of yours to talk about how to create resources. We're going to be diving deep into how to create resources like EC2 instances, bucket, load balancers on Amazon Web Services right from scratch using one of the finest tool available in the market, that is Terraform, which is again an open source. So let's get started without further ado. First thing first, let's talk about the prerequisites. You need to have an Amazon Web Services subscription. So consider enrolling yourself into the trial one. I've been pretty much using the same and from past 1 years, and I haven't paid a single penny to for any of my proof of concepts or demo labs have been spinning up. So shout out to Amazon for that. You also need to download Terraform for your operating system. I'm using a Mac, so I've used. So you have simply go to the web and type in Terraform download. So it's gonna give you all the links for all the operating systems. So if you just go over there and download the version required for your operating system. So that's pretty much all. And you need a code editor. I would highly recommend to use Visual Studio Code, which is again an open source code editor. Pretty fine grained control in terms of how you manage your code. It also gives you flexibility to integrate with different providers, auto completion of code, and things like that. And also it integrates with Git as well, so you can push your code to GitLab or GitHub or Bitbucket, any version of it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my folder, and that's how we have structured our code directory. The first thing you need to have, once you have got your Amazon Web Console ready, you need to have the Terraform version installed and make sure that it's working fine by simply running. I'm just gonna clear the screen and just increase the font a bit. So I'm gonna write Terraform init, Terraform minus version, just to check if my Terraform has been installed correct or not. Yes, that's been installed and the version is 0.11.11. The latest is 0.2. So that's how the structure of my Terraform directory is all about. I've created a main file, and underneath the main file I've defined my code. So what does that contain? So that contains my so if you look at the code, if you go through the code, that's the AMI we are using. All these are available in the Terraform documentation, so don't panic how we have written such long code. We've got a pair. This key pair is specifically used to log into your Amazon Web Services machine. So what we have done is we can simply got our public key, and we have defined it over here and using a file function, and then here starts the creation of AWS instance. The instance we've given a tag name, and followed by few of the mandatory parameters like AMI, which we have defined above. So we're using the data dot API name and the name and dot ID. Instance type, we've defined it, the type of instance in our variable, which I'm going to show you. Key name, which we have already defined over here. Then the security group, which we have defined below. User data, that's what we want when our machine has been built. What we want to do is we simply want to print hello world program, hello world line saved in index.html, and we should be able to curl it or open it with port 8080. We've defined a tag as well, just to make sure that we know what we have created when we look at the resource later. So we've got a public load balance, public IP address. So we've defined over here, which gets attached to the instance, and then SSH rule to log into the machine. Now this is simply a port 22 followed over TCP, and we've defined just a CIDR block of 0, which is gonna allow everything. We've got an ingress port for Postgres machine, which we are creating as well. So AWS gives you a flexibility to use their own managed service, that is AWS DB. It's basically a relational database like a Postgres, a MySQL, or any other relation database. So I'm using a Postgres and a version of the Postgres and a couple of other information. I've saved my password in a file, so I'm using a trim space function, which means any space before the password and after the password will be removed. So I've defined it over the file rather than keeping it open right over here. So what I've done is under the secret, I've defined my password over here. Yep, that's pretty much all. I think we've got a bucket over here. It's a simple bucket to store the logs. However, we're not going to use it. We're going to just create it for the authenticity of the demo. We've got an output, so once the machine has been created, we should be able to see the IP address of the machine so that we can curl it or we can log into that, hit that IP address. We've got the provider, and the provider is AWS. Had it been some other cloud provider like Azure or DigitalOcean or GCP, we would have given Azure or GCP over here, and then access key so that Terraform can log into AWS, and that's how we are using access key and the secret key over here. Then we've got a secret over here. Just above this, we've got our secret for to log in, what we have defined over here. So you can, all these information you can get it from AWS portal. Then we have got a var file wherein we have defined all our instance type and tags and things like that. What else? That's about the code. Time to see some magic and see how do we run this code. So we're gonna do is open a terminal. And the first thing first, so whenever you write a new code, what you need to do is Terraform init, so that Terraform understands which provider it needs to work against. Is it an Amazon Web Services or AWS? So Terraform init is the first command which you need to run. Then Terraform plan, so that you can see what Terraform is going to create for us. This is probably the best idea before actually applying your code to production. And so what I'm going to do is I've already created an infrastructure using Terraform plan, using Terraform apply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy this so that you can see what it is destroying, and then we're going to create resources from scratch. So it's gonna, the minus sign indicates that it's going to delete resources. The plus sign, which we will see now, indicates that it is creating resources. The delta sign indicates that it's trying to modify a resource. So while this is trying to create, let's go back to our trying to destroy. Let's go back to our console and see what all resources we have. So currently we have got only one running instance. That's for some other purpose I've created it. That's the instance, and this is the one we've just deleting it. So if you go back here, and there's some issues deleting the DB. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comment the DB so that it doesn't try to create the DB again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comment multi-line over here and then write over here. All right, the DB has been commented. If I do a Terraform init now, let's see what all it is trying to create. Let's do a Terraform plan and see what are the resources it's going to create for us. Hopefully it should have something to create now as in previous. So yep, there are 4 resources to create, nothing to change, nothing to destroy. If you scroll up, there's going to be a bucket which needs to be created, and that's the my key, public key. Then we've got an instance, AMI defined over here, and a couple of other information, IP address, and that's pretty much all, I think. So let's go ahead and do a Terraform apply, hit enter, and then it's going to ask whether you want to seriously want to create or not. So we are going to type yes, obviously. Yes, and we'll see that Terraform is starting to create these resources we have defined in the code for us. As you can see, the loggings are pretty clear that the resources has started to create. So what it has done is it has already created the bucket. So you see the bucket has been created. What now it is trying to do is it is trying to create the instance, the virtual machine we have defined in our code now. So 10 minutes have already elapsed. It should be starting. If we could go to the screen over here and just hit a refresh button, we should see that Amazon Web Services has already started to initiate the machine. As you can see right over here, still initializing the machine is. And if you just grab the IP from here and try to ping it, not sure if it has just created the hello world HTML file for us. Well, let's just give it a try. Yep, as you can see, we can see the hello world program right over here, and followed by the port 8080, and that's what it has created. Yep, the creation is completed now, the server IP, and that's what the same IP is, what we have defined over here, and followed by 8080. That's pretty much all, guys. I hope this was informative and interesting for you guys. Feel free to stay tuned, and we're going to come back with a few more fun videos for you in terms of Amazon and Terraform and other cloud providers as well. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.